Dragon 24. This is about as good as it's gonna get until your account really gets that punch up and is able to do the hard levels in the dungeons like Dragon. I know Dragon's not as sexy or exciting as it used to be. Other sources of artifacts in Raid Shadow Legends have kind of power crept it, but when you're starting a fresh account, progressing in Dragon makes a huge difference. So how quickly have I progressed, and how am I going to help you dominate Dragon from the get-go? And I mean get-go. But let me show you right now. I have been farming Dragon 24 for a couple days now. It is day 29, and you better believe I have got receipts for you. I beat Dragon 20 on day 25, and frankly, I beat Dragon 24 on day 26, and I easily could have beaten Dragon 24 on day 25. I didn't change one thing from day 25 to 26. I tell you this not to brag. I am here to show you how you can do this very easily as well. It is a 100% free-to-play squad. I do not want this video to take very long.
2,000 years later.
My Dragon runs are long, but we will speed these up a good bit, especially my Dragon 24 run. So if we go here for Dragon 20, I get it in about 4 minutes to 4.5 minutes. And then my Dragon 24 takes a really long time, but that's what auto battles are for. That's what RSL Helper is for, and it's worth it. You know, it really is worth it if you want to progress as quickly as possible. You may be wondering before we begin, why are we not doing Dragon 25? Why did I stop at 24? It's simple: affinity. 25 is very marginally better, but bang for your buck, there's a strong argument 24 is the best since it is cheaper to enter. And frankly, I can't do 25 with my affinities. So let's go in and let's show you the team. I'm not lying. This is a 100% free to play team. You can see 5 magic units. We have our starter, Kale. We have our login, Queen, my favorite champion. She's completely broken. Alice. Then we've got a rare that I pulled from a mystery shard in Frozen Banshee. You don't specifically need FB over here. You don't need the Frozen Banshee. You just need another poisoner. At least I did. She's easy. She's free to play. And then finally, we've got Uugo and Tagoar. 2 100% free champions if you begin Raid Shadow Legends today using my link in the description, top pin comment. You get Corrado over here right next to my head instantaneously on download. At account level 10, you get Tagoar. At account level 20, you get Uugo. And at account level 30, you get Rector Drath, who actually could swap in for Banshee if you had enough DPS elsewhere. It's simple. It's beautiful. My gear is not good. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So let's begin. Let's start with the gear because, like I said, these runs are going to get sped up in a big way. I'll show you the beginning of 20. I'll show you the very beginning of 24. And then we're going to throw this on 4x, 6x, 8x. So let's actually head over to stage 20 right now. And we're going to get right into our gearing. Let's go to champions. Let's begin with Frozen Banshee. First things first, you saw I am using her as our comp's leader. She's providing that accuracy aura. It's only 35 accuracy in all battles, but I like it because it made the gearing requirement easier. I see in a lot of places, people tell you to bring 230 accuracy or more for stage 20 and higher. I have not found that to be the case at all. You'll see with my Kale build, he's actually just under 150. If you just get a couple masteries on your guys and then you have an accuracy aura, you can get away with a lot less. Obviously, if you don't bring Banshee, that's another 35 accuracy to consider. But I find if you have enough support and enough tankiness, which is really what Uugo a little bit, but Tagoar absolutely. Tagoar is the key, the MVP to this whole comp. He is providing that support. Uugo is providing that support. If you have that kind of stuff, you can survive a couple Dragon Breath moments where maybe you didn't get enough poisons up, you didn't get enough DPS in time. I have not failed my Dragon 24 a single time with all the accuracies you will see in this video. So the key thing with Frozen Banshee and the key thing for the entire comp, which allowed me to progress up to 20 and then instantaneously, same comp, same gear, up to 24, was just getting her to 6 stars. So I think this is very known in Raid Shadow Legends, but still underrated, especially among new players. People want shiny legendaries. People want great gear. There's no bigger boost to your account to begin. I'm not breaking news here, right? This isn't groundbreaking knowledge. The best way to power your account up when you start is just get your guys to 6 stars. Those stat boosts make a huge difference. That is what all the gear, all your stuff is scaling off of. So Banshee went from spending the entire fight on her back, deceased, having to get picked up by Tagoar just to die again instantly, to not really dying, or not dying that much. We still die, don't get me wrong, but it's fine, right? And this build is not crazy. You can see some 3 stars, some 4 stars, a couple pieces of pinpoint. I was able to pick up this pinpoint 4-star accuracy banner. That helps. That made the build easier, but nothing here is so crazy. We're going for HP, very modest speed. We're going for some amount of defense. This is the same build I use on her in Clan Boss. It's a young account. My gear's not that good. My artifacts are mediocre. This worked. Before I go to Alice and the rest of the team, let me show you her masteries. I found just getting these first 2 masteries on the right, this was all I needed, right? An extra 10 accuracy and then an extra 20 when nothing's on cooldown. It completely works. That's all the extra push you need. Let's head over to Alice, and actually we'll stay on masteries. Alice and Kale, I did buy their masteries when I first 6-starred them for 800 gems a pop. I highly suggest it. The key thing with Alice, not too much to discuss. She's in my best DPS gear, but as you can see here, it's not the most special gear in the world at all. And actually, I have not even put my 5-star soul into her, which I could have done, chose not to. So that would only make the build even easier, because if you don't know, with the 5-star blessing, with that 5-star soul, we get another 75 accuracy. So I could go even heavier into DPS, ditch some of those accuracy substats and get some DPS substats or maybe tankiness substats elsewhere. I'll tell you though, our Alice never dies. She's just phenomenal. You can see basically broken set kind of stuff here. The only complete set we have is this perception, and then we have 2 cheeky pieces of pinpoint from the event dungeon. But you can tell, like, it's nothing so crazy. 1 6-star piece here, another here, another here. This is a 4-star ring. This is a 4-star banner. Attack main stat with bad rolls. It is what it is. It worked. The key thing about Alice before we move on to Kale, Tagoar, and Uugo is going to be how I chose to build her, which I think is really valuable. So when you see the team setup, you'll see after she opens, assuming it lines up against the dragon when we reach the boss with her A3 to ignore a little defense, I've turned off, after that opening move, the A3 and the A2, so she'll only use this A1. The rest of the battle, the dragon will always have at least 1 skill on cooldown, so this is always a triple hitter. I do the same thing in Clan Boss. After his first move, he always has at least 1 skill on cooldown, so this always becomes a default triple hitter. And it hits really, really hard. So I built her with Giant Slayer, because when I reach the boss fight in the dragon, or when I'm in Clan Boss, or frankly, so much content, she's always just using her basic. That's how I built her, and it's just constant triple hitters. So if you are guaranteeing 3 hits every time, this is an amazing, amazing, amazing addition. You get a free reset, which you should use. You can see I've not used it yet. Eventually, my Alice will not be the boss killer she is now, hopefully, because I'll develop the rest of my account more. I'll have other options, and I can use her for more specific things, like Arena, maybe like progressing through the waves of Doom Tower or Cintranos, things like that. And then we'll go to something like a Helm Smasher, which will be really strong. But for now, she is my everything. She is the hero of my account. She's the best champion I have by a mile. This is invaluable. The Giant Slayer is invaluable. So I'm not saying you have to do this, but I do highly recommend it, especially if you know you're going to reset it eventually. It's unmatched. So you'll see more when we go to the team setup, but I want to keep this moving. Kale is the other unit I bought the masteries for. He is in War Master, as you can see, kind of a no-brainer. His only multi-hit function is going to be on that A3, which is on a 4-turn cooldown. Pretty simple. Definitely go for that support tree to get the accuracy going. You see we had the same tier 1 support and tier 2 support as we had on Banshee, and that's it. This Kale build is not so special. I mean, look at that accuracy, 148, and we get away with it. Throwing the 35 from Banshee, we're looking at 183 accuracy. Throwing his masteries, he almost never misses. Occasionally he's resisted, but it's not enough to throw our run off. Tons of broken sets here. He's in some basic lifesteal. His general DPS is bad. All the stuff is coming from his poisons. He's got the little poisons on the A1. He's got the big poisons on the A4. And that's it. I've got a very basic soul for him, just 1-star blessing of Phantom Touch. Gives a little extra HP so he doesn't die as much. Very basic build, simple stuff. I want to save Tagoar for last because he's our MVP. Let's go to Uugo now. You can see we have a bit more built out on the masteries. I'll put that here if you want to pause it. This is just kind of a general every woman build for Uugo. Not really going for the boss killer stuff. That's why I went defense with support. Thinking about general non-boss PvE and of course PvP setups. If we go to the gear, again, nothing too crazy. I did want to get her accuracy high because I use her in Arena as well. So we're up to 228. That's plenty. She's fairly fast at 221, but she's 5 stars. Not all of my champions are 6 stars. The other 4 are, but Uugo is just 5 stars. There's no soul. You can see how many of these champions do not have plus 16 stuff. Look at the bottom on Banshee here. Only 1 plus 16 on the boots. Look at Kale. He's got 2 16s, but a couple other random 12s. Here's an 8. This is a terrible piece, but it's the only thing I've got. If we go to Uugo, all 12 on the bottom except the boots. Alice, she's got the best stuff, but still a couple 12s on the accessories and then 1 on the helm. It is what it is. You can get away with a lot more than you realize. So the key thing with Uugo and the key thing with Tagoar, frankly, is just make sure they're skilled out. Really what you need, I mean, the cleanses are really huge. You're going to want this on the 4-turn cooldown, but certainly getting through those waves, you need the block buffs. So getting this to a 3-turn cooldown, that is essential. That's what allows this to cook, because otherwise they're going to buff themselves and you just get deleted. Even on stage 20 with these builds, you'll probably die without block buffs. So Uugo is really clutch here. You could bring another AoE decreased defense, but then probably you'll need a little bit more tankiness, or maybe another support on top of Tagoar that's a little more powerful with the healing than is Uugo. Simple stuff though. She's got the leech on the A1 to help us out a little bit, healing up on the boss. It's simple. It works. Let's go to Tagoar. He is in a bolster set. You absolutely do not need it. There's no point in the fight where we're going to get one shot in those first 3 turns of a round. I guess it wouldn't be one shot, but we're not going to die in those first 3 turns of a round. It's just not going to happen. I'm using it because a lot of my best gear is from the Forge Pass, and it is the bolster gear, and we just wanted to get him nice and strong. So you can see, again, he's got all plus 16 on the bottom, but messed up accessories, 3-star ring, and then you can see only the helm is at plus 16. We do have these nice gloves here. These are awesome, but nothing else is particularly special. I guess the boots are pretty cool too. But you can see I'm just trying to get his HP nice and high, and I'm trying to make him fast. So he's at 220 speed, and you'll see the HP added up in a second, but it's like just under 65k. It's between 60 and 65k. You don't need accuracy on him. The resist, you don't need it for this. He's not going to resist anything anyway. You just want him really tanky, and you want him fairly fast. Obviously not that fast, but fast enough for where we're at in the game. And absolutely, you're going to want Charge Chant on a 3-turn cooldown. And I'd say you're going to want this Rise and Fight at least on the 6-turn cooldown, but probably you're going to want it maxed out. Let's see now the masteries on Tagoar really quick. I'll bring it up big again in case you want to pause it and you want to copy. Again, I'm not really going for a boss build, kind of a general overall wave PvE build with a slight arena focus. It's really the support tree that makes the difference here. Getting the bigger heals, getting the bigger shields, so on and so on. Definitely helps out a lot, but this is not the biggest investment in the world. Only up to tier 4. Haven't even finished the tier 4. We still need one more with those masteries. Finally, you probably saw we do have our natural Alice blessings we get from the login rewards. Then we got a Kale blessing, and Tagoar is our 3rd of the 5 that does have a blessing. I went for this one over here, emergency heal. He's never close to death, but this ensures that he's just getting extra maximum heals all the time. You'll see in the runs, Tagoar is just such a tank. He's crazy. I'm in love with this champion, and I think you guys will be too. That is everything, guys. So let me show you the team setup, which is super, super simple. When I enter this team setup page, you can now see all the added up stats. So I'll slowly click through here in case you guys want to pause so you can try to hit those similar benchmarks. I will call out some target stats for you now. I find 150 accuracy to be plenty if you have masteries and you're bringing Banshee as an aura, so plus 35. If you're using another accuracy aura instead of Banshee, or you're not bringing Banshee at all, then that number goes up to like 180, 185. But as long as you have those first 2 tiers of masteries, I think you're going to be fine. The support from Tagoar is kind of all you need. You'll see this on the sped up runs. So that's going to be our target for the accuracy. The key thing with Tagoar, I think you want him at least at 55k HP. I think to be safe, you want him 60k or higher, and I think you want him at least 200 speed. You'll notice a lot of our other speeds besides Tagoar and Uugo are not so fast. Tagoar's at 220, Uugo's at 211, Kale's not that crazy at 178, Alice is speedier at 195, and Banshee kind of a slowpoke at 168. Very quickly now with the team setup, and then we'll begin the fast runs and conclude this guide. You can see here I've turned off her Frostblight for round 1 and round 2 because I want to make sure it's ready to open up on round 3. These rounds take an eternity, so there's really no reason to turn it off on round 1. But I do this anyway in case you guys can clear a lot faster than me. I see no reason to use it. It's going to make almost no difference when you have these big waves to deal with. You just want to make sure on round 3, you turn off Cruel Exaltation, and you want to focus and prioritize that Frostblight. Make sure it's ready to have it opening up. This places the poison sensitivity, which is great for her and Kale, and it allows her A1 to place the double big poison, because the condition for her to place the poison on the A1 is that she has placed poison sensitivity with the A3, or someone else has put it on. That's the only way she's landing the poisons. Simple with Banshee, even simpler with Alice. You want to open with Clockwork Cyclone, the AoE, and then let everything else ride. Then you want to prioritize Clockwork Cyclone and let everything else ride. And then finally, like I said, for round 3, if it's ready, you'll open with Queenslayer. That ignores defense. And at that point, she's going to go before the dragon. So he's going to have nothing on cooldown, which means the A1 would just be a double hitter. But after that, turn it off. You never need the AoE. And then it's constant triple hitters with the A1. Lots and lots of Giant Slayer damage. If we go to Tagoar now, you can see don't need anything here. If we can, we'll open with the Charge Chant. And finally, what I like to do here, open with the Rise and Fight, just in case at the end of round 2, someone had died. This way, if Rise and Fight is ready, he'll pick them back up from the go, and then we prioritize Charge Chant. Big heals and increase speed. For Kayle, you can see in round 1, I just turn off Disintegrate. We really don't need it. You can certainly keep it on, but in case your runs are faster, might as well just save it for round 2. Now for round 2, I open with Disintegrate, so this is why I've had it turned off, just for a slightly better start on round 2. But then, of course, you prioritize the AoE, Acid Rain, and then round 3, turn off that AoE, prioritize the quadruple hitter with the 4 poison potential, and then you've got the A1. Finally, Uugo. She opens up with that AoE decreased defense and the block buffs. Everything else normal. Same kind of thing in round 2. If it's ready, we open up with Maelstrom Rack, that big AoE decreased defense and block buffs. Plus, I'm making it the priority. Round 2 can take a really long time, so we want her using that as much as possible, and we want to keep that defense break and certainly the block buffs up. And then round 3, this is kind of key. So sometimes she does dumb stuff and she opens with Uugo's Brew if it's ready and like Maelstrom Rack is on cooldown. So what I do is I have her open with the A1 to ensure basically, unless some crazy stuff happened, she's guaranteed to do the A2 with the decreased defense as the second move. And then by that point, she should have this off cooldown and you should want to use it. But if she wastes it at the beginning, you might miss a nice early heal and a nice early cleanse a couple turns after, because she'll just waste it if she opens with that. So there's not much left for me to say. I think what we're going to do is enter this battle. I'm going to make myself disappear and you guys can just watch it all sped up. And we'll check back in after, head into 24, rinse and repeat. Let's go. All right, actually, I'm going to give some brief commentary. Here's the end of round 1 now. You can see it took us just less than a minute. So we come in here. You can see we're getting that Charge Chant from Tagoar that speeds us up. There's the AoE from Alice. Unfortunately, because Alice got some kills, which speeds her up from her offensive masteries, she went before Uugo. So eventually I'll get this tune that Uugo goes faster than Alice. But that's kind of the key thing. We're just like kind of cooking. We get those shields from Bolster. They're going to target basically Kayle and Banshee, and those guys will die. I'm actually glad he died there so I can show you. But Tagoar is never even close to death. So it can be a long slog, which is what you're going to see, and there will be no commentary interruption with stage 24, but Tagoar will just find his moments and pick these guys back up. Remember, when he revives them, he's also giving a shield based off of his HP, not the target's HP, so it's just huge. He just saves you nonstop. So here you go again, just less than a minute. We're going to get that finishing of the round here, the conclusion of round 2, and now I'll talk you through just the beginning of round 3 with the boss, and then we'll check in at the end. See, we're doing a lot of those basics to get started. Kayle lands 2 poisons. Now Banshee comes in with that poison sensitivity. And there's that purple bar we want to get rid of so he doesn't hit us with that huge smash. Where is it? The Scorch here. If you can get rid of that, he's not going to do it. And we're going to be fine. There you can see those red numbers. Those 30Ks are Giant Slayer procs from the A1 with Alice. It's only going to get higher when we go to 24. And we just kind of slowly cook through this. It actually looks like this might be our fastest time ever. So I'm not even going to stop here. We'll let it keep running. There's a resist on Kayle, but it's not much, right? Like if you're paying attention, you'll see even on 24, even with this, it's a bad build. Like my Kayle is not built well, but I can't do much better. Look, he just landed 3 more with no resists. We also have Brimstone on Alice. I absolutely should have mentioned that. That's a great source of extra damage. Not needed, but you're going to have her soul. She's probably your only legendary with all those such high blessings, unless you're really lucky. So she probably already has Brimstone. It just speeds the run up a little bit, but again, not needed. You can see there's another proc. There's no decreased defense. So it's still 14K from a Giant Slayer proc. Kind of all the difference. This is definitely our fastest run. This is pretty sweet. Interesting. My Banshee is a much higher level now. When I was doing this before, she was at like 35 and 40. I haven't done Dragon in a few days, so I guess she didn't die as much. 309. I mean, not so shabby, I don't think. Is this something worth keeping? Absolutely not. Give me the silver. Let me bring it into 24 now, and we're actually going to say goodbye until it's over. Buckle up. We're probably going to throw this on like 8x, so it only takes a minute. Maybe it's going to be fast, though, because probably Banshee will die slightly less. Only one way to find out. Let's head in. I'll see you at the end. Bye. Bye. All right, I want to come back for a second. You can see we're wrapping around 2 here. We're still going to be fine, but something happened, which can happen and is very annoying if the way RNG lines it up. And that is Kale got killed by Luria with her block revive skill. So you can actually just see Tagoar just tried to revive. We get the shields at least on top of the bolster shields, but he can't because he had his revive blocked. So it's going to be sweaty and it's tough, but actually Banshee and Alice will be able to handle this. I guess theoretically there is a world where this run maybe could fail. I just don't think it would. I've never seen it happen where Banshee and Kale would die. Alice can't die, as you saw. She doesn't get targeted and she's never close to death. Uugo could die, Banshee could die, Kale could die. So there's a world where maybe it all lines up that Luria blocks all of them. I've never lived in that world. It's never happened. And you will see once you get to the boss, even if it's just Banshee and Alice, or it was the same thing if it was just Kale and Alice, we were fine. And they would never kill Alice before the others. It doesn't line up that way. So she's never in risk of death. I'll let you watch the end here. We'll speed it back up. But I thought that was worth mentioning. It's something I've only seen happen once before. And I've probably done at least 100 runs. To be fair, I haven't stared at every run. But it slows you down, but it does not break the run. You can see, guys, we're already wrapping the run up here. It's going to be my new best time. The couple levels Banshee's picked up recently kind of have made all the difference. There's our best time ever. And there is an argument, because my Kale is so mediocre and such a bad build, that we're better off with him dying, at least for the boss, because we're not wasting the little poisons in the bar, since you only get up to 10 debuffs, and Banshee's really getting to fill it up. Easy peasy. We got it. That was our best run on both of them, actually. So not too shabby. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this kind of guide, be sure to let me know in the comments. If there's ways you think I could improve, definitely be sure to let me know in the comments. I have made hundreds of guides in my life, but not that many in Raid Shadow Legends, so I'm definitely going to have to find my footing a bit here. So please, all constructive criticism is welcome, even slightly unconstructive. I can deal with a little criticism. Thank you for watching. That is how to beat Dragon in your first month and get that amazing speed gear. That's what it's all about, baby. Appreciate it, guys. I've been Fastidious. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.